What? X Harper here. WWE2K20. Man, it's been a minute. If you haven't seen videos from me, the last ones that I did was like back in 2K19. But I'm here now that the game's launched. I hope you'll be glad to hear that I'm going to start producing more videos again. We're going to start talking about the game. I'm going to start displaying content and all that jazz. But until then, I'm going to leave all of that to one side while we discuss the most important thing at the moment, which is the launch of WWE2K20 and everything that has happened since the launch and even before that. Now, I'm not going to play the game. Usually I play the game. This time I'm just going to jump into a Raw Rumble. I'm not going to play in the Rumble itself. I'm just going to start it. And the reason I want to do this is because I just want to focus completely on what I say in this video and make sure that I'm actually making some sense. And also, I don't want to go over times. I just want to get this said right and do it as quickly and as efficiently as I can without waffling on about random stuff like I'm about to at the moment. Okay, let's rewind first back to the initial videos that we used to see in 2K20. You'll remember the ones that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the videos of the original footage. We had the entrance videos that started coming out, and it was there that I started getting worried about this game. Aleister Black's entrance, I don't know if you remember it, but Aleister Black's entrance had some issues with like stuttering effect at the beginning of the video. Now I'm going to say this, I'm a part-time videographer. I've produced really high-level videos. So when I see footage and it's stuttering, immediately I go into panic mode. Somebody somewhere has done something wrong with the footage, and that's why it's coming out in this really bizarre way. So I saw that and I was worried about it, and that started to get me concerned. After that, life just seemed to go on this very rapid downward gradient, and it was almost like being thrown off of a cliff by 2K saying, here's all the crap at the bottom, go find it, and then just pushing me. Because after that, I got loads of bad images from the game, and everybody started talking about the graphics and how crap the graphics looked. Everyone was obviously saying negative things about the graphics, which has been something that's gone viral, which in itself should show you how bad the beginning of the game is. By the way, look at that shadow on the screen just then. That was embarrassing, people. Embarrassing. Not going to go into bugs today. I want to try and avoid them. I don't really know why I played the footage, because I'm guaranteeing you that there will be at least 2,000 bugs that occur in this video while I'm talking, and I'm not even really focusing on it. So if I miss anything glaring, just leave a comment, have a laugh about it. We'll all try and laugh instead of cry together. Anyway, these bad images came out, and I was so frustrated when we saw these really poorly shot images from within the game. It made the game look bad. Everything about it looked negative, and obviously there was a backlash from fans like myself. We were all kind of beginning to get worried. And this is bad marketing, as we all know, because obviously what you want to do is build up the hype, build up the enthusiasm, get fans behind the product, get them on that snowball, so that when the game launches, everybody is hyped up, we're talking about the game, we're excited, we're showing content, and it's all positive, and we're sort of glossing over the negatives. Didn't happen this year. I was excited to create content. If you don't know me, I have been Diamond Rank creator for the last few years. Last year was awesome. I outdid all my targets. I got over 150,000 downloads, which was awesome. I love creating content. I love creating old school content in the game, like WCW, ECW, all that stuff. And I put in hours, and I mean hours, of work into this game before it launched. Almost a whole day before the game was launched. I spent on my laptop filling in sheet after sheet on Google Drive just to make sure that I could be as efficient as possible when the game launched, so I could create really good content at a really fast pace. That way you guys don't have to wait long before you get the stuff that you need to fill out your universe mode, to fill out the game, to make the experience what you want it to be. All that excitement disappeared on launch. And this channel, by the way, was for me just to share my creations, how I create stuff, and so that it can act as like a tutorial for you guys. I didn't really want to do a review video like this, but I feel like with all of the excitement that's been sucked out of me, and with the way that the launch has been so far, I've just felt compelled to share some of my thoughts on why I believe these issues have occurred. Some of them are going to be obvious, some of them are going to be less obvious, but I wanted to share them. It's my opinion. Everybody else is sharing it, so I'm going to share mine. But bugs that we have seen on launch have been insane. I'm not going to go into too many of the bugs. I'm going to highlight the 3 big ones for me. I understand there are thousands of other ones that people have experienced. If you've got them and you want to complain, do so in the comments. Let me know. I want to read about them. I actually like reading about the bugs. It's kind of entertaining seeing the videos as well of random wrestlers running on the bottom rope and the rope going like spaghetti. It's all kind of fun for me. So leave comments on any bugs that you want to talk about. But the big ones for me, Community Creations is broken. As you may or may not know, Community Creations is an absolute catastrophe of a mode at the moment. I've been having some of my creations randomly be deleted by the game, so I actually don't know how many times they've been downloaded. It's ridiculous. I'm actually a diamond rank already. I was a diamond rank after 6 downloads. I can't believe it. 6 downloads and they gave me diamond rank, and I was just like, wow. That's one bug that I'm actually thankful for, because it means that I can abuse it and put more content in for you guys. But the problem is I can't until I've got the image uploader. Image uploader is the second big issue for me. I'm sure you've heard about it being talked about. When you remove so much content, when you remove the roster the way that they have from last year, the roster has shrunk, by the way, for those who don't know. When you do that, you're naturally putting pressure and leaning a lot of responsibility onto the creators like myself, especially core creators, because they're the guys and girls that everybody looks at and says, these guys are going to help us get over all the sadness and depression that we are in over the fact that we've lost either legends that we love or current superstars who've either left the company, been released, blah, 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 whatever. So you put pressure on us. And I personally don't like that. But when you don't actually start the game and launch it with that image uploader intact and ready to go, you spit in the face of every single fan and gamer that there is who plays WE games. You're just completely disrespecting us. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that one today. The final issue that I have that's big is the fact that they haven't patched the game, and I know this isn't a bug per se, but it's definitely bugging me because they haven't patched the game. They haven't even bothered to try and patch anything on day one, and with so many big issues, you would assume that they would have used a little bit of common sense or even business sense and tried to do something about all of the issues in game. Now, let's talk about what I believe the 2 biggest issues are with WE and 2K having the series of games that they've had. The issue for me comes down to communication and competence, okay? Communication, both internally and externally at 2K, is an absolute nightmare. I've never seen a company, either professionally or personally, be as bad as 2K are. Their communication with us as fans has been a disgrace. They haven't talked to us at all. Through all of the problems that they've had with not only launch, but all of the issues that came before it, all of the rumours that were spreading about problems in the game, issues here and there, 2K and Uke splitting, nobody really addressing it. All of that stuff happening speaks of bad communication within 2K as an organisation. They don't know how to talk to us as fans. All I want, and I think all most of us would like, is a tweet from 2K explaining the situation. Just one post, that's all it needs. Just give us a rundown, on an overview on what's happening. I don't need to know the details. I don't need a video seeing the devs working on the fix. But what I do need is an acknowledgement that you guys use Twitter, you see the uproar that's happening online about this game, and then you actually say, hey, we're going to address this, and we're going to make sure that the consumers know that we're working to a fix, and we're going to do it as quickly as possible. But they don't do that, and that's the problem that I have with 2K. Internally, the communication clearly is an issue, because ever since Yuke's left the deal, because I don't think it was even a relationship, ever since they left the deal with 2K, what we've seen is a game that's resulted where clearly 2K don't know what they're doing. They've come in and they've kind of picked up the reins of this monster of a game that was built by Yuke's. And it feels like Yuke's were basically project managed by 2K. It's almost like 2K were, and I've said this to friends, you've got to remember that WE Game Series, when THQ went under, nobody wanted this series of games. No one. It was in such a state that EA stepped out of the race early and said, we don't want anything to do with wrestling games. And then when you look beyond that, there were only 2 or 3 companies. Activision didn't want anything to do with it. They stepped out and said, we've done that before, it's not who we are now. And so 2K were like the last man standing. And from all of the communication I got from different sources and different journalists and interviews that I'd read after that acquisition happened, it really felt like 2K were just taking it because nobody else wanted it, which was a bad sign in itself. And so ever since then, what we've had is 2K have simply hired THQ staff, they maintain their relationship with Yuke's, and then put more pressure on Yuke's to develop the game. And I don't want to call this game a cash cow anymore, because it doesn't make the sales that it used to. For those of you who don't know, the sales have declined exponentially since WE13. There was a bit of a peak after 14 where 2K14 was a good game because THQ had still worked on that game. 15 was a nightmare of a game and sales went through the floor. Then, ever since that, it's gone down and down and down. This year it's, in my opinion, going to hit an all-time low, and I'm not expecting sales of 2K20 to be any good. But the communication that we've had ourselves has been terrible, but internally, between 2K and Yuke's, clearly there have been problems, and with Yuke's leaving, it's left 2K holding the ball. And as you can see, we've got this game that feels like it's just been thrown together in 6 months. That's my honest opinion. It looks like it's been put together in 6 months. Obviously 2K have a legacy of development tools and devs and all that sort of stuff that they've utilised. And you can see that the game actually, and I want to say this in defence, the game looks a lot prettier now than any of the images that we saw pre-release. The game actually looks a lot better, and that is the one defence I will give it. The game is definitely not PS2 graphics like people have said. It's PS4 graphics. Everything looks nice until the game starts playing. So with all of these communication issues, it's just culminated in this mess of a release, mess of a game. It's unfinished. Nobody at 2K ever stopped to take 2 minutes to explain to us as fans, hey, the Yuke split has happened, the game isn't going to be as great as it should be, it's on us and we're sorry, so what we're going to do is we're going to lower the price of the game or do something to soften the blow for us as fans. Or the smart thing to do would have been simply to say, we're going to release the game at Christmas because we need the extra 3 months of development to make this game what it needs to be in order to justify the price point that we're asking for. So that's the communication side done. Competence is my second point. Internally, it's clear that 2K don't have a big development team. They've admitted it themselves. If you didn't watch the video with the interview with Chris Denker, I would just say to you, go and watch that. It's a really good interview, and it gives you an insight into how bad the communications are within 2K. You could see from what the guys were saying that they had no idea what this game was going to look like. You could see that they were worried about the game. They were basically firefighting in the interview, and it was really weird because to firefight a game in a pre-launch interview is scary. They shouldn't be doing that, in case you don't know. And the reason it's happened is because they've got a tiny team. They've been left. Ukes have gone off and carried the ball home. 2K have been left with like this massive game that they've now got to build from scratch because they don't understand Ukes' perspective on coding. They don't understand their experience or their expertise in it. So it's a mess. We've been left with this catastrophe of a game. And for all of that, there's been no communication with the fans. So that's why I'm upset at 2K at the moment. And if you've seen my Twitter channel, you're going to see everything I've said about them. And I'm not going to say anymore. I'm going to probably carry on Twitter, but I'm not going to do it here. So what can we do? I want to finish this video as positively as possible. I think I've kept the video to a decent length. We're just around, what, 15 minutes? If you don't own this game right now, don't buy it. Okay, and I'm going to repeat that just so that it's clear. Do not buy WWE2K20 right now. Don't do it. For your own sanity. And for my sanity, don't buy it. Because anybody who buys this game, knowing that it's a buggy mess right now, is an idiot. You see, I was fooled. I didn't know. I was at least ignorant to the fact that I had these assumptions, but I couldn't quite put my finger on a fact. I couldn't say that it was true, so I bought the game in good faith. But you guys now, if you haven't got this game and you're thinking of buying it, you've got no excuse. You've heard it from everyone. You've seen it trending on Twitter. Globally, this game's broken. Don't buy it right now. Now, I do want to say the game has a good foundation. I have been surprised at how good the game looks and the potential that it does have. I don't think it's a lost cause. I do believe that with a few 4 or 5 really good patches, we're going to get to where we need to be with this game, and I think we'll have a game that everybody can kind of be satisfied with, happy with if you like, and I think we'll all end up looking back on this and being like, wow, wasn't that a horrible dark time in our history? Let's move on. But if you do own the game, there's something else that you can do. And I don't want to say this to everyone, but I didn't like tweeting this earlier because I don't like name calling, and I certainly don't like calling people out, but I'm going to do it anyway. Brian, BRYAN_VORE, that's his Twitter handle. If you have any issues with this game, tweet that guy, Brian Vore. He is the guy responsible for the social media channel for @WE Games. He, in my opinion, is the reason that we're not having any communication with 2K. They're not talking to us, they're not explaining anything. That guy sucks at his job. And I didn't want this channel to be a problem. I didn't want it to be something that was negative, that picked on people, that brought people down. But on this one occasion, I'm making an exception. Because this guy doesn't do his job at 2K, he should be fired, frankly. But I want you to send your complaints directly to his personal Twitter, and not at WWE Games. Okay? send everything to him. I want him overwhelmed with all of the issues that we have with this botch of a game, because that is the only way that we're going to get things done. If we find these people who work for 2K and we bombard them personally with these complaints, they're going to get so annoyed they're either going to block us all and remain ignorant and look stupid, or they're going to realize, okay, we got to do something about this, and it's going to pressure them in their workplace to go and talk about this game and what needs to be resolved. So those are the two things to do. You either don't buy the game or complain to the right people. Don't just tweet the hashtag #FixWE2K20, because I doubt that WE Games are going to read it. I doubt that any employee from 2K will bother reading it, except for when the journalists come around asking, why have you released this botch of a game the way that you have? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to end the video in a minute. We're not going to get to see the end of this Royal Rumble, unfortunately. Tomorrow I'm going to start with bug videos. I'm going to start going back to more of my normal stuff. And then we're going to go into universe videos. We're going to have creation videos. I've already created a whole bunch of content that I can't upload yet because I can't use logos. All of that will come. I'm sure we're going to have a fun ride with all of this stuff on the channel. Thank you so much to those of you who've subscribed to the channel. Thank you for everyone that's liked videos, commented, and took the time to just tell me what you think. As I always say, if you're going to leave a negative thumbs down, please, please, please reinforce it with some constructive criticism. Go in the comments, let me know what you want to see, let me know what I could do differently or better, and I will read it. I respond to everyone, so let me know your thoughts either way. As for me, I'm X Harper. This has been the first video of WWE2K20. Hopefully they won't be as bad as this going forwards. Have a good night, everyone.